Now I wanted to put some mirror information. I know I've had an awful lot of this on the last couple of months of videos because I've made what I thought big improvements in my own little motorcycle collection, and I had a couple of tips I wanted to pass on, stuff that I've only learned in the last few days, and it's significant stuff, maybe worth knowing. Now every motorcycle here with a fairing originally had the mirrors mounted to the fairing. And what I did, I tried several different lengths and sizes and shapes of mirrors, ones with blinkers, ones without blinkers. Never really felt I found what I wanted. Now, when I got these mirrors that have little clamps that go on the handlebars, and of course they come flat black, that dreaded flat black, but we could take care of that. Now, on some motorcycles, this is really easy to fit, no problem at all, and just make block off plates. And I've got an upgrade, and that is, for me and my personal riding, the way I feel about it, that's a significant thing. And the poor RD had the mirrors that Luciano gave you, the real RD mirrors, and I could never get them adjusted and never get them to stop vibrating. I just gave up. There was a point at which I said, well, I'm not going to be happy with this. And what I did, I had made a set of bar end mirrors. Didn't like them at all. It was even harder to see. And you turn into a penguin with your neck bouncing back and forth trying to look at them. And for me, and it's personal, it's just for me, having the mirrors mounted on the handlebars, that's the way it should be for me. And then the spoiler is the GS. You go for a ride on the GS, the mirrors are exactly where they should be. You don't even have to move your neck. You don't even have to, it's so convenient. And I always think, why can't they just make that can work for every bike? Well, I think I came up with a little baby solution here, something that may be of value. But it's the same thing when you mount mirrors to a fairing. They always seem to be too low and too narrow. And it's just something I've just decided I don't want to live with anymore. And when I mounted the mirrors to the bars, and I took the first ride on the FZR after the restoration, I said, oh, I got to do that to all the bikes. And one by one, I've been working on that as a solution. Now, if you follow along, you know, a couple of days ago, 3 or 4 days ago, I had 2 sets of mirrors mounted on this bike. And I went for a short ride. I had the fairing mounted and the ones mounted to the bars. I went for a short ride and I just said, end of discussion. All the mirrors have to be mounted on the bars. And that was easier said than done on the 650, but I came up with a little solution. Not a big deal. Something that's worth trying. So of course, because we're going to pull this whole bike apart and do a full restoration, I'm not really worried about making polished parts for it right now or anything. But I do want to finalize the set of mirrors that go on a bike before I get to the full restoration. Now, I've had enough sets of mirrors on this bike to know. I've had long ones, short ones, real sexy looking ones, round ones, diamond shaped ones. And every one had some pluses and minuses. But none of them even come close to being as good as the GS. And that's what I was looking for. And I'm not exaggerating when I say I've got buckets full of mirrors. I really do have. And I'm back from the days, I don't know how long ago, when I had my back issues and it was hard to move my neck in certain dimensions. And after 2 or 3 hours of bending my neck, I'd come home with a sore neck. The mirrors were a major thing to making the bike that it was a long distance motorcycle. That basically they all were 3 to 4 hour ride motorcycles. So the solution for the 650 was the mirrors that I've bought lately, of course Amazon or eBay, they have them, and they're $10 to $15. They come with these clamps, you clamp it to the handlebar. Well, that's fine for this side. But what would happen on this side, no matter how I arranged the hardware, something was an interference problem. And then the solution was, I came in, took it off, put it down on a grindstone, and made it a quarter of an inch, maybe 3/16 of an inch thinner. That allowed me to get all the controls back to where they should be, and on a full lock either way, no interference. So just being able to narrow this down, see what happens is when it comes from China, it's really wider than it has to be. So if you run it on a grindstone or some other solution, I don't know. Now, what it means is, in this, I would have had other solutions. Of course, you can change the handlebars. I could have narrowed the throttle a quarter of an inch, moved everything outward. You you can't remove these. These are an important part of the motorcycle. And so you start playing what I call musical chairs. Nothing, and always it's a Rubik's Cube. At the end of it, one thing doesn't line up. Well, one thing is a pain. Well, this one worked out perfect. This one I just have to get the mirrors painted, get them installed. Well, I may even run them without painting them. It doesn't even matter. Because what I'm trying to do is, before I take this bike apart for the restoration, I would love to at least finalize the mirrors. Then I could make the block off plates. When I put the bike back together, I don't need any mirrors on. I can just, I'll have the mirrors mounted right up here. And when I have this apart, I'll paint these shiny black, of course. This is a good solution, but it never would have worked if I didn't think of thinning it out. Thinning it out, maybe 3/16, quarter of an inch, allowed everything to come back to where it all worked as a unit together. And you can see on the 750, there's not a real clearance issue. It's close, but it really allowed me to have that view that I want to have of what's going on behind me. And it's so, for me, so important. Now, keep in mind, some people I know don't care what's behind them. Yeah, it's a cop, the IRS, the INS, though their wife would have gone, I don't know. But I like to know what's going on around me when I'm riding. And as I get older, I want to know more and more. And you can see how close the clearance issue is on this, but it all fits. It even fits with the GoPro mount. It just fit in there. It just couldn't have been better. This one I didn't have to thin it all. And actually the hardest one is the 650. But I do want to have that get rid of the fairing mount mirrors, get them mounted to the bars, get them to where I can see what I want to see when I want to see it. It's personal. It works for me. And probably by the end of the year, I'm going to have 100 more mirrors on the floor here. And I don't care, because here's the thing. All of these mirrors, and it doesn't matter. Some of them I had, some I came up with, some I painted, some I didn't. The bottom line is, once you have the good vision on a bike and you're happy with it, then testing all these mirrors, piece of cake, because you have it for the rest of your life. But when you don't do this and you just suffer along with, it's like when you have a bike that you're not comfortable riding, so you just keep riding it. Handlebars are too low, foot pegs are too high, whatever, and you just keep suffering and suffering. You just never enjoy the amount of enjoyment you can have when you have the bike custom fit to your body. So part of the great mirror adventure is we have ordered, believe it or not, some more mirrors. We're going to paint them one by one. I'll probably make one video of painting and buffing and everything of the mirrors. But this information about the mirrors, every time I ride the bike, somebody asks me about why do you have the mirrors on the handlebars? Well, what you do is you ride a bike that's got fairing mount and bar mount at the same time, and your eyes pop out of your head. You go, why didn't they put them there in the beginning? So what I'm thinking, just as a demo, I'll mount up the bar mount mirrors and take a picture of just how much better the vision. I don't know if you can see it from the cockpit view. The vision, anytime you can move the mirror out, even a half an inch, way better. Because in most cases, on a sport bike, you're only seeing that last fifth of the mirror. The rest of it is your shoulder or your elbow or your nose or something. But having these, and when I put the longer ones on, it gets better. And the ones that have come to a point are a little bit better. The round ones are terrible. The egg-shaped ones, and the ones that come with the bike are somewhere in between. But once I get them all mounted up here, I think it will. Actually, I should probably take a video of a ride with the 4 mirrors on a bike, just so you can see how much better the vision is right from where the camera mounts on a jacket. So as hokey as that may look or strange, it really is a good way to actually figure out which way works best for me. And I will just definitely take a ride with 4 mirrors before I take the bottom ones off. But I may just take the mirrors off because I don't have time today to make up the block off plates. That's a job for another day. So the proof is in the pudding. This is the cockpit view that you have when you're driving a bike. Look at the difference between what you see out of that mirror and out of that mirror. It's not really much of a decision. Now, of course, if you don't care about seeing behind you, and I understand that, or if the predominant thing in your life is that your bike looks cool, well, in my case, I really do like seeing. And those little clips, if you have to thin them out, That solves one of the problems on a 650. And sometimes you can just fit them just the way they are, but like on the FZR. But so I'm going to end this video and say, you figure it out. Which one of those mirrors do you think you can see better out of? And I hope you enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching.